appreciate everybody being here and giving me the opportunity to talk about Saluki Baseball. And it seems like every year, this time of year, when I'm talking Saluki Baseball, it's 15, 20 degrees. So, Tom, we need to cancel these in the future and see if we can get some better weather. But this is my 29th year, and I can say without hesitation, I am more excited about Saluki Baseball right now than at any point in my 29 years here. For two reasons. One is our current players, and I'll talk about them in a minute. And the second one, and this is unbelievably important, Coach Keel. Coach Keel has made a commitment to Saluki Baseball unlike anything that's been done in my 29 years. Obviously, we got the stadium, but beyond that, he has stepped up and sent a message to our team and our program that he cares about Saluki Baseball, and he's made a commitment. Because of that commitment, we were able, and I'm in the process of doing some things that you guys will notice when you come down there that are going to make a huge impact on recruitment and development. We have a flight scope machine, which is a high-tech data analytics machine that records everything our players are doing. Everything our hitters, everything our pitchers are doing every day is on this machine. We get a printout as coaches as soon as we walk off the field. Bat speed, exit velocities, launch angles from our hitters, spin rates, velocities for our pitchers. It's a very valuable resource, not only in terms of development, but in terms of recruitment, because that's something that the better programs have. We also have a BATS video system. If you've ever been to a game, you see our players running around with a little camera in their hand trying to get video. We now have 6 permanently installed video cameras that go into a computer, are downloaded, and as soon as we walk off the field, we have all our hitters, all our pitchers' video ready to go. We can cut it up, we can split it up, edit it, and get it to our players individually within hours after they play. So every practice, every game, we're completely videotaping everything they do, and that's obviously huge in terms of development too. Two other things, obviously we got a beautiful stadium, but because of the commitment to our program from the administration, we freed up some of our fundraising dollars. We've padded all the walls. That's a great look. You're going to see a big difference when you come down there. The side walls, the outfield walls are now all padded, which anybody who travels in college baseball, all the nice stadiums have that. It's a safety issue, and so we're obviously very excited about that. The last thing, which you won't see yet, but hopefully you will soon, is we're going to increase the lighting. We're going to vastly improve that, and it's good, but it's not great. Right now we have 80-some bulbs out there, and we got a project going on that will add 40-some bulbs. So basically we're improving the lights by 50%. We're going to add 2 poles in center field, and then we're going to add bulbs to all the infield lights. So you'll see a big difference when you come out for night games. I think the games on ESPN Plus, the night games, will be much better production, and that's something that we've wanted to do ever since we built the stadium. And again, we're able to do that because of Coach Keel and our donors and our fans that have stepped up and donated to our program. So unbelievably excited about those things. Those are things we need to continue to move the program forward and do what the better teams, Dallas Baptist, Missouri State, they have those things. And so now we're getting in a situation where we have what they have and should and will compete against them. So I'm excited about that. The other thing is just our current players. I absolutely love this team. We've had some really good players in the past. We've had some good athletes in the past. We've had some good teams. We've not had a collection of them like we do right now. This is the most complete team we've had. When I look at it, when I go out and practice, and some years you're like, well, we're not as good here. We got a little bit of a weakness here. This club, in my mind, right now going into it, has no weaknesses. Positionally, you guys know for the last 2 years, we've been one of the fastest teams in the country. We finished 4th in the country in stolen bases last year. It's kind of, I'm hearing a lot of buzz about it, and it's true. We do run better this year. We are more athletic, and we are faster than we've ever been in my time here. And up and down the lineup, we'll be able to run. Our position players are a very veteran group. They got a lot of experience, but it's kind of interesting because you won't know a lot of them. We have 6 transfers that are going to make a big, big impact for us. 5 of them are position players, and one's a pitcher. And those guys are going to again, make a significant impact on our program. So excited about them. The key to the season, however, as always is the case with baseball, is pitching. And we're extremely talented on the bump, but we're not real experienced. Matter of fact, we only have 2 senior pitchers. One of them is Hunter Hart, who's who's experienced a little bit of arm issues lately, but has been in the program for 3 years. The other one, which you guys saw, I don't know if you've heard this, but Matt DeSomer is now on our team as a senior pitcher for us, and it's kind of interesting because he hasn't thrown for 5 years. We knew him out of high school, knew he wanted to give it a shot this year, and he's going to help us. He's got a great feel for pitching. That's the one thing after 5 years, you think his arm's going to get better, but does he have a feel for pitching? Does he have command? And he's proven he can do that. So I think he's going to be a good addition to our program. Certainly going to add some toughness, which is huge. And he's fit in after only 4 weeks, and it seems like he's been with us forever. So, but beyond that, we got a lot of young pitchers again that have talent, and how quickly they develop and accept new roles is going to determine how quickly we and how much success we have. So the other thing about this club, and then I'll take questions, is the intangibles. You know, again, we've had a lot of talent. I don't know, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure since I've been a head coach, we've not had a club with this kind of work ethic. We've never had a club with this much leadership. Again, this is an interesting thing. We have 8 seniors on our ball club. 6 of them are 5th-year guys. So there is some experience there, and there's some leadership, some guys that aren't afraid to step up and lead. The other thing, and this is the hardest thing to find, is we have some toughness. We have some guys who will get after it, and again, they're just tough, hard-nosed kids, blue-collar kids that show up to every day to kick your rear end, and that's exciting. So again, just the intangibles, and guys have bought in. This group, probably more than any other group we've had, they've bought into everything we're trying to do, what we're trying to do to be successful offensively, and what Coach LaRue's doing with the hitters and what Coach Finnegan's doing with the pitchers. This group, they're all in. They bought into that, and they're doing everything we've asked them to. So could not be more excited about it. We open up 1 week from today at Nicholls State. Hopefully, we will have started 34 minutes ago. Hopefully, we're still hitting in the top of the first inning a week from now. So, but we need to go play. We've been outside, I think 7 times in the last 2 weeks. A couple of those days were a little chilly, but we've been able to inter-squad 5 times on our field. That's huge at this point of the year. Hopefully, we get out maybe 1 or 2 more times before we head south. So, but I know our guys are ready to go and excited about the season. So. Any questions?
Will you use DeSomer as a hitter too?
No. He's just going to be a pitcher only. And as a high school guy, he was both. He was a two-way guy. But to be away from the game for 5 years and to think you're going to come back and hit pitchers at this level would take a lot more time than we had. And it's a much bigger adjustment. So basically, he'll just pitch for us.
What impresses you about him as a pitcher? What he talks about? What he mid-80s maybe in the fastball?
He's an upper 80s guy, yeah, and I think every time out he gets a little bit bigger or in terms of velocity, a little more arm strength, and as he continues to get in pitching shape, obviously he's in great football shape, but he's got to get in pitching shape, got to get his arm in shape, and so again, every time out he's gotten a little bit better.
You have to be a little careful working that into so you don't hurt his arm.
Sure. It's been a process, and as we are with all our pitchers this time of year. I mean, that's one thing that Coach Finnegan does a great job, is making sure we don't abuse those guys, and we bring them along slowly because we want them to be at their very best in May when we go to the conference tournament. So, but it's been a little bit different with him. We've had to go a little slower, but he's pretty much caught up by now. You know, we had the foot issue at the end of football, and so we had to deal with that a little bit, and but again, he fits in, he works hard. His best thing is his feel. And when I say feel, I mean his command in the zone, and the ability to throw strikes with more than one pitch. So his off-speed stuff, which had to catch up a little bit too. That was a little bit further behind, and but he's caught up, and he's going to help us. He'll start off in the bullpen. I assume most of the year will be a bullpen guy for us, and a long guy, and maybe a setup guy as he gets a little more experience. But he definitely will help.
What do you think about Brad Harrison?
Just his ability to pitch, his pitch ability. You know, he's awfully good early last year. Can throw, you know, every pitch for strikes, has great command. The thing that's most exciting about Brad right now is, you know, he was really good last year, the first half of the year. He was a two-way guy for us. Obviously swung the bat a little bit and pitched, and he got worn out at the end of the year. He was not the same guy. He was just physically tired. You could see it, and so he's made a huge commitment in the weight room. He's a much bigger, stronger guy than he is right now. The other thing, he's not hitting anymore. His future's on the mound. His future beyond college is on the mound, and he knows that. So for the time being, he's given up hitting. He's focusing on pitching, and I think that'll help him too. And so just his endurance and the ability to stay strong and be at his best all year, I think, is huge. And he's you know, he's just grown up. He's a much different looking kid right now.
Great. Epsil's really good for you. Tell me about the rest of your injury.
Okay, it's
Vaciches, right?
yeah. It's matter of fact, I think again, I said our position players are experienced, and it should be the strength of our ball club. And that infield is awfully good. And Nico Vasic is back at second base, and just had a great year for us. He's gotten a lot stronger too, and he'll be at second base. And Gray Epps is, gosh, I said this the other day, and I mean it. If you had 30 Gray Epps, my goodness, this would be the best job in the country. That guy works his rear end off. He does everything we ask him, and he's an extremely gifted guy. If you remember him playing third base last year, he can really play defense. And so he'll slide over to shortstop and take over for Connor Kopak, and I'm not worried about that one bit. That's his natural position. He's got all the tools to play that. The one thing is he's gotten a lot stronger, and he's now an offensive he'll be an asset for us offensively too. He's a bigger, stronger guy, can hit the ball in the gaps. And so those two guys, for the most part, will anchor down the middle. J.T. Weber, who also started at third base last year, early in the year, is now slid over to first base. And that's a pretty athletic guy at first base, and will also hit in the middle of our order. And then a couple infield transfers that are really going to be exciting. Ian Walters will start at third base. Ian is a Paducah guy that transferred from Wren Lake, one of the most natural hitters I've ever coached. It's just easy for him, and just finds a way to put the barrel on. He's a left-hand hitter. He would have probably been the player of the year in that JUCO league last year if it wasn't for Phil Archer, who was the player of the year and came from Aldi, who's another left-hand hitter that we got. And Phil will probably start out as our DH. He was the leading hitter in that junior college league last year. So those two guys are really going to help us offensively. Ian will hit probably maybe in the 2-hole or 3-hole for us, and then Phil will probably be in the 4 or 5-hole for us. So those two transfers are really going to help a lot. So I'm excited about the infield. It's probably the one area that I'm a little bit, we don't have a lot of depth on the infield. We need to keep those guys healthy. Should something happen to one of those guys, Alex Lyon will come in and play infield, as he did last year when Gray got hurt. For the time being, he'll start in left field for us, and you know, he's our top returning hitter. And again, a guy, he's 29 stolen bases last year, and extremely athletic, and he'll do a good job. And Will LaRue is a grad transfer, our first grad transfer. Really interesting. He's a switch hitter. He's the fastest kid on the team. Matter of fact, John, correct me if I'm wrong here, but he is the top active NCAA player in career stolen bases. So obviously he fits in great with our scheme. Again, a switch hitter, transferred from Xavier, got his degree there last year, started on 2 NCAA tournament teams. So he has a lot of experience and had a lot of success, and so he'll get a lot of playing time in the outfield. And the outfield is opposite of the infield. We have a ton of depth in the outfield. Ken Crawford, who was here last year, can really run, has gotten better offensively. Brad Hudson played quite a bit as a freshman last year and can really run too. Probably he and Will LaRue are pretty much step for step in terms of running. And Addison Fugit, left-hand hitter, will have a chance to play out there well. So I feel really good about infield as long as they stay healthy. Outfield, a lot of depth, and we'll put guys out there that can go get it. That will be one of the fastest outfields around. They'll be fun. There are not many things going to fall out there. So the other part of it is our catching. This is the first for us. 29 years. The first time we have 3 catchers that all could be frontline guys. Austin Ulick caught almost every game last year, is back. He's a junior now. We added 2 transfers. Aiden McMahon played at Wren Lake and then went to SEMO as a Southern Illinois guy. Transferred in here last year, had to sit out. Left-handed hitter, is a really nice player. And then we got a young man who transferred. He was at Logan 2 years ago. His name is Colin Bakavich, and switch hitter with big time arm. I mean, he's got a pro potential, and he transferred in from Western Kentucky, and because of some situations that were a little bit out of his control, we appealed to the NCAA and got him eligible immediately. So we have 3 guys that I'm extremely comfortable with. Matter of fact, one of my biggest challenges, how do I keep those 3 guys in the lineup, playing time wise, and keep them happy, because they're all 3 frontline type guys.
Now, stolen bases will certainly, help you, but situational hitting, what makes you? Is there anything that makes you feel you'll be a better situational hitting team with runners on?
Yeah. I mentioned that our guys have bought in. I won't go into a lot of depth about what we're teaching offensively, but try to get guys to shorten up a little bit and hit balls where they're pitched. Obviously, guys that have been down there know there are not a lot of home runs at Ish-Jones Stadium. That is one of the biggest stadiums in the country to play in, and so that's one of the reasons a few years ago we went to the speed. Is we're not going to hit a lot of balls out anyway. Let's hit a lot of balls in the gaps, which are huge, the turf. So our philosophy is to hit balls where they're pitched, and just be, we call it, we like to grind out ABs, and so guys have bought into that, and moving runners, hitting behind runners, we can really bunt. We don't sacrifice bunt a lot, but bunt base hits, we spend a lot of time at that. So again, I just think we got guys that have bought into our philosophy of small ball. I don't know, small ball is not the right word. Because we can hit a lot of doubles and triples. We got some guys with some juice. Again, the park just doesn't play that way. So, but we'll move runners when we need to, and we can hit behind runners. We can hit and run. And the other thing about that is when you hear speed, everybody thinks stolen bases, and we're really good at stolen bases, and we work at that. It's the first thing we do every day in practice. That's how important it is to us. But beyond that, it's stretching singles into doubles. It's stretching doubles into triples. It's going first to third on a base hit. It's scoring on all base hits. And it's just nonstop pressure on the other team. And it's amazing. Our own pitchers know what we're doing. Yet in inter squads, they freak out. I mean, we're putting so much pressure on them when we get on the bases. And everybody in the league knows. I mean, everybody in the Midwest knows now that's our MO. I mean, that's our philosophy. And so I think when we show up, it's interesting to watch pitchers. They're doing stuff that's not normal. It's not natural. You watch middle infielders, they're doing things that are because they're trying hard to control our game. Well, we've put pressure on people. And when you have to prepare for that and you have to worry about that, that's good for us to put that kind of pressure on people. So that speed is, again, a lot more than stolen base. It's just creating havoc and putting pressure on other teams' defenses. I mean, we got it'd be interesting to go back or keep track of this, how many base hits we get to the third base by the third baseman because they're sitting in our face because they know we can run and they know we can bunt. I mean, little things like that you don't notice, but because if you stay back at third, we can bunt and you're not going to throw us out. And if you come in, then we got a better opportunity at the ball. So it's little bitty things like that that the speed creates and helps us offensively.
You got picked 5th in the preseason for the conference. Does that feel kind of like a snub to you guys?
Or? No, not at all. Well, first of all, it's irrelevant, realistically, but every coach wants to be picked at the top. It's interesting about pose. If you're 1 or 2 at the top, you're like, man, I love those things. If you're at the bottom, like, who cares? They don't count. But it's exactly where I thought we would be picked for 2 reasons. One is pose are based strictly on what you have returning. Because in baseball, we don't know a lot about what other teams have brought in. We recruited some of those kids, so we know a few. But I can't tell you about Dallas Baptist and Missouri State's new guys. I don't know a lot about them. So again, you have to base those on returning guys. And we don't return a lot because of it. But they don't know anything about our transfers. They don't know anything about us moving Gray Epps to short and J.T. Weber to first and how they're going to do. So you have to vote on what you know. And having said that, I knew we'd be 5th because the 4 teams above us have a ton of kids back, which is the second part of it. And I think we're certainly, if you go in our clubhouse, you're not going to find one guy who thinks we're going to finish 5th. Everybody down there believes we can win this thing. And I truly believe that 6 teams have a chance to win the league. But it's a testament to how strong the league is that there are 4 teams above us. And I look at it more in terms of that than it's a snub to us because if you look at Bradley and Indiana State, they got everybody back. I mean, they lost hardly nothing, and they had pretty good years last year. Dallas Baptist, Missouri State are at the top again, and they just got it going right now. So there's 4 pretty good teams, and certainly we think we can beat those teams and we can win the league. But going into a preseason, that's certainly where I thought we'd be picked. And even Illinois State sitting in sixth right behind us, they have almost everybody back, and they have some talent. So, and they have a new coach, and there'll be some excitement about that program. So, realistically, any of those 6 teams can win the thing, and I think all 6 will be battling right down to the end. The league is outstanding. It's always good. I think this year, we'll see what happens, but it very well could be the best it's been in, certainly in my 9 years as a head coach.
Do you have a closer or a committee of closers?
Committee right now. We have a couple prospects, and we're going to go into it without a true closer. Trey McDaniels, who was Nettemeyer's setup guy last year through the 8th inning, did a really good job for us, is certainly going to be one of those 9th inning guys. And did a really good job, and I feel good with him at the end. One of the keys to this is a guy named Justin Yeager, who's a junior and threw a little bit last year. Didn't have great command. Had a great fall for us. Went out, and we don't hardly ever send a pitcher out in the summer to throw in summer leagues. Well, he went out and threw because he had to need to work on some things, and came back and has really developed a much better command. By far the best arm on the team. I mean, he's a 94, 95 mile an hour guy. He's got a nasty slider, and if he'll stay in the zone, he certainly can be one of those guys too. So what we're going to do going into it is we're going to use those guys at the most important part of the game. So we may be in the 6th, 7th inning, and they got a couple guys on, and we're facing the meat of the order. We're going to get our better guys out there at that point. I think too many times you lose the game in the 6th, 7th, 8th inning trying to get to your closer, and because you give up runs, you don't even, you leave the park, and our closer hasn't even touched the mound. And so we're going to use those guys as needed. Feel really good about both of them, and if one closes today, the next one may close tomorrow, and we'll see how that all develops. But feel good about that back end. We'll see. But we won't go into it with we're pretty fortunate the last 4 years. I mean, Ryan Nettemeyer's all-time career saves leader, and you can count on that guy. But we'll see who develops. But one of those 2 guys early on will do that for us.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks, guys.